Well, today is July 19th, 2021. Remember, I just got banned from a place where I enjoyed sleeping around the gophers and the birds and the quiet area with very little Homo communia primates going there. And I've been banned from there, not because of bad behavior, but because I make people uncomfortable when I document that they're part of the problems that they are complaining about. That's pretty much it. Look, I shaved at the shelter for people that have either disabilities which led to addictions or addictions. But I mean, often there are things that lead to addictions other than just getting into it, or mental illness or poverty. And I shave because I have a job interview tomorrow, or at least an interview where they might make me an offer. It's just an organization that reached out to me without me reaching out to them through other things. And so I'll be wearing a different shirt and trying to find a place to connect to the internet. I have 25 cents left in coins, $6 and maybe 6 cents or so in my bank account. And tomorrow's the poor person check coming in unless they don't make it come in. Now, of course, I've been on today BC's My Self-Serve, and it doesn't say it wouldn't come in. And, if they care to not create more poverty in people's lives, they would say, if they flagged it or something in some way. So I hope to have money to put fuel in the Moosey Choke, which is down to the last quarter or less, and to purchase food or drink at a place that I'd use the internet for this interview, and go to the bathroom because, again, irritable bowel syndrome has been setting in since I don't have a regular toilet. Being away from a house, I was house sitting on a regular basis, and so I just wanted to say, guys, that when I work for Salt and Lalem Society, which surprised me because I forgot I applied, and I told you these in other stories. You probably don't know unless you watch them all. I don't think I have fans like that, but anyways, or family or friends that know, more than 8% of my life, but even then, probably 6 of that 8% is assumptions that more or less, become myth over time that isn't true, but they won't revise it. So when I worked at Sun Lalem, I had already taken life skills coach training, and some of the people that worked there, or that were going to work there, had been in my training. So they knew, I'd been asked to be the master of ceremonies at our graduation. The teacher asked me to replace her when she was away on vacation, gave me staff status with that university college that became Vancouver Island University. So they knew my skill sets were good. Yet in that job, I was always in the same role, seen as just a driver for AA and any meetings that I proposed things. So when I resigned, I resigned because I said, you see me as less than I am, and I want to help First Nations more than this. And you need my skill sets, and I've proposed things. And after I'd resigned after 4 years, and I had a letter of reference, which the place where I took a shower and shaved today know about this letter of reference, or about this employer, which is 4 years in a treatment center with First Nations. Now, this place is not First Nations related, but there's a lot of similarities in the skill sets that are required. They have a lot of AA and NA meetings they take clients to. There's a lot of similarities, and I'd be very good, but they didn't want me as a job after, making me come back a few times, or even a volunteer. So it's suspicious. You might think, well, Martin, and again, the only way that I'm the constant in you blaming me is my theory is. Because my theory explains this devolving of you. But also, which appears that I'm not devolved like you are. And again, I'm not saying I'm a superhuman. I'm just saying that I worked really hard to try to catch up to the humanity that the communities I belong to never role model for me to have. So again, I'm saying we've been devolving at a measurable rate in even one lifetime now. And so it's kind of weird that after being 6 weeks in a community where these types of jobs or other ones, education, mental health, whatever it is I have the skill sets, and I end up just becoming like at this home here, just a receiver of the services instead of a provider of the services. Now, if you think that means there's something wrong with me instead of this proving my theory right and there's something wrong with you, yeah, I know it's a losing battle. My theory explains it's a losing battle. But again, it always goes back to how can I convince you guys to pay attention more for the sake of proving to me or you or your kids that you care about them enough to not continue this acceleration of your devolving cultures and societies for the sake of your children suffering less in their lifetime. And you can't seem to want to question things or stop for a second from being a generic automaton and say Martin has important things to say. And if he's overcome, the mental illness that he's had through an understanding of this theory, which is related to the domestication of people by other people, which right now is linked to everybody and includes linked in ways that makes them suffer increasingly more from mental illness and addictions. Again, if I haven't made it clear enough, it's not my fault. It's because there is no way to make it clearer. And I'm not saying I did a perfect 3-minute TED Talk. But I mean, I don't know how much data you want from different parts of the world, from different demographics, that include predictions. Like, for example, the place I was banned from is I asked somebody if I could pay for the coffee on a different day. Now, somebody I believe was eavesdropping on our conversation about other things that's wrong with that culture. And that culture is banning me, saying that some staff are uncomfortable or feel threatened or harassed or whatever, while there are as many staff who wish for me to keep visiting with them and wish for me to have a job there. But again, these staff are, like at the beginning of the Nazi Party kind of gaining dominance, is they were good people not doing enough. So that's not my job to convince them, because they might think it's only for me when it's really more for them, right? The de-escalation of their cultures that their kids will keep belonging to. So when I was banned from there, I owe somebody $2.25 because I really didn't have the money. And I know all these things are interconnected. So now when the ladies that wrote the letter, because this could be part 2 of the one I filmed a few hours ago, when I respond to her, yes, I'd like that Zoom with you. And I'd like to know how we will explain to the people that want me to keep coming back, that wish for me, that already work there, that I would get a job there. How do you want me to respond to them when I'm a constant? That means I haven't acted differently in the people you claim I criticized, or not criticized, but harassed or made uncomfortable. I've been the same person. It's just that they have not been able to withstand reality like the others who wish for me to be more involved. I'm the exact same person. I don't act differently. You can measure this in conversations that you could record with or without my notice, really. I mean, it's a decency to give me notice, but whether you give it to me or not, you can even measure that I'm the same guy. I won't act differently. And I've recorded people where I'm telling them I'm recording them, and they don't act differently, and it makes them look bad. And they know they're being recorded. They can't deviate from generic automaton behaviors. That includes at a university, which I haven't released that audio yet from Vancouver University. I was waiting to take them in court to do it. But how ridiculous they are. People that write letters like this say, you make us uncomfortable. We're more educated than you and we're your elite superiors, but you make us uncomfortable with reality, really, because we are quite happy with our path of self-destruction and taking everybody down with us, including international students, it seems. So it's pretty sad that this is who you are, that this is predictable, that I planned for this with my socio-cybernetic skills, psychological profiling, my theory, and just having a generally good mind that can keep track of this intuitively without having to write everything down. Is I know scenarios are forming at a particular time. So in that letter I could say, well, I owe this $2.25 to this lady who was really nice to me. And they may very well know who it is if that guy was eavesdropping on us today. And before I got the letter. And I don't think they'll treat her badly. but she might be a bit more uncomfortable around me now, and it's not because I'm a different person that she thought I was before this happens. It's just that somebody brings her in an office, say, we don't want Martin to be here. He's making others uncomfortable. If he hasn't made you uncomfortable, just know that he won't come around, and if he does, tell us. Now that would make her uncomfortable because, like I'm very confident when I evaluate somebody and I judge them as being a type of person I give my trust to or not, but most people aren't. They can't rely on their minds. They know this. HSD makes them doubt themselves. So again, these are scenarios that keep forming. And when I came to this new community, my goal was not a paycheck. Again, I'm the Homo sentient sapien. My goal was giving another community a chance and hoping that they would give me what I said many years ago when I filmed a vlog from my hometown. I said for people, including my family in that vlog, to pay attention to me, to witness me, to know me, and to do it well enough and with a motivation to understand me, in the witnessing of me, and to accept me as who they understand me to be, and nobody's ever reached even level 2, much less level 1 to actually pay attention. So paying attention to know who I am. Number 2, understand who I am. So number 1 hasn't been succeeded. Number 2 needs to come after number 1. Number 3, be accepted. That means, hey, you need to stop violating my human rights if you've reached level 1 and 2 first. And number 4 is appreciated. Now, of course, I know if I reach number 4 that that's an Homo sapien that reach all these levels. And it's the same thing as many, many years ago when I wrote a letter to the local MP at the time saying, I think I've documented that I've paid my dues. I've done my due diligence in Canada. You insist on self-destruction. Please just write a letter, say, hey, Martin is leaving in good standing. He doesn't owe money. He doesn't have a criminal record. He doesn't, have lost his freedom from bad behaviors in any way that he can leave. And we wish him well. But yeah, I just needed them to acknowledge one tiny thing. We don't seem to have evolved enough for him to find a place in our society. And you have not. But the thing is I've learned a lot also that there is no grass is greener on the other side. There are just levels of intensity of how various communities suffer from HSD.